people? In this video, this is going to be a story time video, and I'm going to tell you about the time where I took mushrooms with a girl that I met off of Craigslist. Okay, now I will tell you right now, this is a story that involves extreme stupidity on my part, several bad decisions, and I'm very lucky about what actually happened in this story. So, fair warning to all of you impressionable people out there, this is not something you should try at home, consider trying, or ever doing, ever. This is really stupid, what I did. However, I'm still alive. I'm going to tell you the story anyway because I think it's pretty funny, and I'm, whatever, just going to tell you. Okay, so, when I was living in LA, this was in 2016, I was going through, I didn't make a lot of money, I was driving for Uber, I was living in Brentwood in Los Angeles, and at one point, I was actually making very good money working with a friend of mine running an online advertising business. I say running a business because it was really just me and him and like a couple contractors, but whatever, I was a 50% partner in the business, you know, in terms of profits. I was getting 50% of the profits, and that was a lot of money for me at the time, especially since I had no expenses other than like food and whatever, like nootropics and supplements I wanted to buy. So this friend of mine, I don't remember how I found it, but at some point I met somebody who could get mushrooms, right? And we were like, it was like, let's do them, right? I told my friend, he's like, oh, let's get an ounce, right? And an ounce is a lot of mushrooms, right? There's 28 grams in an ounce, and to trip on mushrooms, you really only need to take like an eighth, or what you could really take is half an eighth. An eighth stands for an eighth of an ounce, as we don't know, which is 3.5 grams. Or half an eighth, which is around 1.7. Okay, so for two people to split an ounce, that's 4 like really strong trips of an eighth each per person. So that's a lot. Okay, so what I ended up doing, I ended up buying these mushrooms from this person, and then over the in the interim, before I was able to split it up with my friend, I actually had a falling out with my friend, and we didn't talk for a couple months. So basically, I had all these mushrooms that I didn't really know what to do with. I was like, shit, like, what am I gonna do with an ounce of mushrooms? I'm gonna take all of these by myself, or so I thought. So anyway, I held on to them for a while. And then one day, I was like, oh, I'll just, you know, I was bored on a Sunday, and I think I took like 2 grams or something, and I walked from where I lived in Brentwood. I was like, all right, I don't wanna like sit in because I didn't really have much of a life back then. Like I said, I was like driving for Uber and like whatever. Anyway, I was driving for Uber after I ran this company with my friend. Complicated story. Anyway, walked down to the beach, to Santa Monica, and just kind of wandered around the promenade and like stared at the beach in the summertime as like I tripped on mushrooms, like went to the mall, just like basically tripping in public on a Sunday. And this became my Sunday routine, really, because I had a lot and I would do this every week unless I had some other obligation or something. Basically what I would do is I would walk down to the beach or walk down to, you know, Ocean Avenue, look at the beach, go to the promenade, which is it's like this couple blocks that they closed off in Santa Monica with shops and stuff like that. On Sunday, there's like street performers, tons of people walking around. It's a very, very fun vibe. So I'd walk down there and just chill for basically the entire day. And then afterwards, I would go to the Sunday evening yoga class at Equinox. Pretty cool now that I think about it. Pretty chill lifestyle, even though I was pretty depressed at the time. Anyway, this was my routine, and one day I was like, you know, I kind of want to trip with somebody else. Didn't really have, I don't want to say I didn't have any friends, but like nobody that I could just call up and be like, hey, do you want to take mushrooms and like wander around, like go to the beach or something? So I posted on Craigslist, right? So stupid. I posted on Craigslist, I was like, hey, I have some mushrooms, does anybody want to take them with me? And I got some responses, some weird people, of course, it's Craigslist, like dregs of humanity on that site. And I got a response from a girl. And the girl didn't post her face, but she posted a picture of like her from the back, and she was skinny, number one. She had a lot of tattoos, and she had really curly hair, which I kind of liked. I like girls with curly hair, right? And she wrote me. She's like, hey, like, what's this about? Like, are you a real person? Or are you a cop or something like that? And I wrote her back, and anyway, like, we exchanged numbers. I think we texted or talked on the phone or something. And I think maybe we exchanged pictures or something like that. I don't really know. But I told her where I live, invited her over to my house, told her like about the mushrooms. I was like, yeah, I have all these, like, just want to trip if you guys are interested. So basically, she came over to my house. She was so shy. Oh my God, so shy, right? Like she came over and I'm like trying to make conversation. You know, this like little tiny girl, I think she's like 20 years old. I was like fucking 33, right? She's like, I think she was a little nervous, right? So it's weird to go like some guy you meet off Craigslist to like, he's gonna give you drugs. You guys are gonna like do drugs together, your first time meeting. Like, who is this guy? Like, is this like part of a like elaborate rape plot or something? I could see how a girl would think that. Obviously, like I would not do anything that. I was honestly, genuinely just looking for somebody to take mushrooms with and chill on the beach, right? Let's make that clear. But I could see how like a young 20-year-old girl would kind of have like some buyer's remorse after committing to do that, right? So anyway, roll a little joint, and we basically like, you know, I give her, we split up the mushrooms, and she took, I think we did like half an eighth or something, and there were, you know, the idea with mushrooms that the caps contain the most psilocybin, or you trip the hardest off the caps, and then the stems are like less intense. So there's like a big cap in there. She's like, can I have that cap? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And this girl probably weighed 100 pounds, okay, and I weighed like maybe 180, 175, something like that. And we took like the same amount, all right? So we took the same amount, we chill there for a little bit while we wait for it to kick in. It takes like 30 minutes maybe. And then we walk to Ralph's, right? And Ralph's is, you know, shopping, grocery store in LA. I live like a couple blocks from the Ralph's in Brentwood. Any of you Brentwood people, you know where that is. And we start walking there, and whatever we're talking, just the plan is to go get a bottle of water at Ralph's. That's it, really, that's the plan. Get a bottle of water at Ralph's, walk down to the beach. It's like 3 miles. Fair walk, right? It's gonna take at least an hour. And then walk the promenade, basically like take her through my little track of like what I did on an average Sunday. I can't believe I'm posting this video, this is so bad. Anyway, whatever. So we walk down to the beach, we go to Ralph's, and as we come out of Ralph's, or as we're in Ralph's, I start to trip, right? I start to like, the thing with mushrooms is that it makes you kind of anxious, right? You get kind of anxiety when you do mushrooms, right? If you're able to ride it out, and if you are active and outside, which is why I like to walk around and be so active when I took them, because you need an outlet for your anxiety. You need something, right? But if you don't have that, if you're just like sitting at home doing nothing in your same 4 walls, like watching TV, you'll just kind of start to freak out. It's a body high. It's just from anxiety. You don't think anything really bad. You just think like, I gotta get out of here. I'm freaking out, right? So anyway, you feel that start to come on a little bit in Ralph's, right? Or I did. And I was like, I'm starting to feel it. And I could tell by the look on her face, like she's starting to look a little scared. I'm like, okay, this is fine. So anyway, we leave Ralph's. We start walking down the street. I'm trying to make conversation. I'm trying to keep things light. You know, I'm a fucking veteran salesperson. Like, I've been through some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen some shit. I've been through some shit. I've taken mushrooms the past like 3 weeks in a row by myself. Like, I'm fine. Okay, but I see this little girl. I see her start to like not be fine mentally. So I'm trying to like keep the conversation light. Trying to keep her happy, right? Like trying to be a good trip sitter, as they say. As we're walking, she grabs my hand. Starts to hold my hand, right? And she's grabbing my hand tight, like really tight. And I'm trying to like talk her down, calm her down. And we walk maybe like for 10 minutes. And then she drops the bomb on me. She's like, I want to go to the hospital. Or I think I need to go to the hospital. I think I'm going to die. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, no, it's okay. You're fine. Because I know, like, nobody dies from taking fucking 2 grams of mushrooms. I don't care you weigh fucking 100 pounds. It's not going to happen. Okay, I know what this is. I've taken mushrooms many times. This is common. You get the anxiety, you start to freak out, right? So I'm like, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. It'll be okay. Try to like kind of calm her down, explain things to her. And she starts to like unravel. And she's like, no, I'm going to die. I'm having a panic attack. I think I'm having a heart attack. I want to go to the hospital right now. And I'm like, we can't, you know, like, and I'm thinking in my mind, like, God, for like, I'm imagining this was going to happen, right? We're going to go to the hospital. They're going to say to her, what happened? What did you do? She's going to say, I took mushrooms. And then it's going to turn into this thing, where'd you get them? And she's going to like, the cops are going to get involved. And then I'm going to turn into this like sexual predator who like posted on Craigslist to like drug girls and rape them or something like that. I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm honestly thinking that. I'm like, this is like the end, like actually the end of my life. Like this girl knows where I live. She has my phone number. She can identify me. Like I'm thinking selfishly. Because I know really, like, let's be realistic, people. Like a couple hours from now, she's going to like relax. Everything's going to wear off. She's going to be fine. Okay. But anyway, good luck explaining that to somebody you just met like an hour ago. So anyway, she's like, I want to call my friend. Where's my phone? And she like pulls out her phone, calls like her like gay best friend, and whatever, Steven, I forget his name. She's like, Steven, I think I'm gonna die. I don't feel good. I want to go to the hospital. Where are you? I need you here right now. And I'm like, I'm like, what did I get myself into? You know what I mean? Whatever, they're talking, and I hear her say like, she's like, I'm with some guy I met off Craigslist. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, do you understand how that sounds? Like, she doesn't know I'm like well-balanced mentally, like wholesome person. Really, I think I am, despite what you may think. Like, not like, no, yeah, okay, fine. If we hooked up, okay, cool. But like, no real plans to like, you know, she doesn't want to, that's fine. I'm not even like trying to make a move. Like, you do mushrooms, like that's the last thing on your mind. Anyway, she's like freaking out on the phone with him, and I'm like, let me talk to him, right? And she like gives me the phone, and we call an Uber, right? She's like, I want to go see my friend right now. And I'm like, okay, where is he? She's like, he's in the valley. And I'm like, fuck. And like, he was like Canoga Park or like Agora Hills or something, which Brentwood to Agora Hills is like an hour almost, like 45, 50 minutes. It's far, right? And I'm thinking to myself, God, I got to be in the car with this girl now for a fucking hour. And she's like losing her mind. God knows what she's going to say about to the fucking Uber driver, right? Like, what kind of shit she'll get us into. Nightmare. So anyway, we call the Uber. Uber takes like fucking 15 minutes to get there. Oh, and I'm on the phone with a friend, right? And I'm explaining the situation to her. I'm like, yeah, man, we took some mushrooms. She's tripping pretty hard. She's freaking out. She'll be fine. It's not that big a deal. She's just like, feeling anxiety from the mushrooms. That's really all this is. Like, you can come out here if you want. We'll come to you. Like, I'm trying to like downplay the situation a little bit. And he's like, he like tells us where he is, and like we call an Uber. Anyway, Uber takes like 10, 15 minutes to get there. We get in the Uber, and she's like losing her fucking mind, right? Like, trying to like keep it together. I'm also trying to keep it together because I'm worried I'm gonna like go to prison after this. And we like talk to the Uber driver, and he's like, I don't know, maybe the guy wouldn't give us his address on the phone. He like wouldn't tell us where he wanted to go. So like we're trying to call this guy and like get his address to give to the Uber driver. Uber driver's getting pissed off because like we haven't actually gone anywhere. And then I like, whatever, I don't know, 5 minutes pass in the car. And by now it's been like, I don't know, maybe an hour-ish, right? And then I say to this girl, I'm like, listen, how about this? Why don't we just go back? Let's go back to my apartment. Because she's like, I want some water, right? She's like totally in the moment, can't like future pace at all, right? And I'm like, listen, I have water in my apartment. Let's just go, we'll go there for like 5 minutes, right? Let's just get some water, relax, chill out for a little bit. And then, you know, we'll like, we can go back out and go meet your friend. Okay, so like we go back to my apartment, go in, get some water, like really quick. Didn't go to see her friend, thank God. And then I was like, let's, you know, we didn't want to be in my apartment. I was like, let's just go, like we'll go just down the block. There's a nice little park over there. Just chill at the park, look at the nature, look at the flowers. Like, she's like, okay, like, I think I'm starting to calm down. I think I'm starting to like feel a little bit better. But like every minute or two, she would like grab my arm, like, and I'm like, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I think what she really wanted from me, now that I like look back on this, is like, she really just wanted that like calm, like stroking, like my soothing voice. It's gonna be okay, don't worry about it. And she had told me earlier, before we started the trip, I was like asking, like, what do you do? Are you in school? Do you have a job? And she's like, no. That's actually the reason I was on Craigslist today, is I was looking for a job. I started a post, whatever. And I was like, you know, what did you do before? She's like 20 years old. She's like, yeah, I used to be in nursing school, but I dropped out, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, we go like, thank God it was Sunday, let me tell you, and there were like no cars out. My neighborhood in Brentwood was kind of a sleepy neighborhood, not too many people walking around. So in Brentwood, which is kind of a green area, there was this like, you would have these like sidewalks kind of, and on the sidewalk would be a well-maintained lawn where people could sit. Nobody would sit there because it's Brentwood. Nobody like sits outside in Brentwood, but we went there to this nice, like very quiet street with like beautiful like canopy of these trees. It's an amazingly well-maintained area. I don't know how I got an apartment there. But anyway, we sat there with this like really nice view, beautiful houses, nice green grass. And I was like, let's just sit here and chill, and we'll just relax, and like you just like look at the nature. I'm like trying to calm her down, and she's finally, thank God, calming down. And we're just like relaxing, and we lie down, like I lie down, she like lays on my chest, and she's just like trying to like, she's riding it out really, which is what you have to do when you're having a breakdown like that, right? And you know, if you haven't ever taken any mind-altering substances before, you might think that I'm like some like evil person who's like giving drugs to people or something. But ideally, when you take mushrooms, like they'll say regarding psychedelics, like acid, mushrooms, like you should not do them if you have shit in your head that you haven't really worked out yet, right? Like if you have mental issues, you really should not take those unless you're in a very safe place where you can like rage and there will be no consequences. Like not in Brentwood in the middle of the day where you like turn your head and you can say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. Boom, you know, somebody, whatever, calls the cops, or you end up in a place where there will be long-term consequences. For example, if you go to the forest or the desert and you can fucking, you know, where your cell phone doesn't work, you can rage at the trees all you want. What's really gonna happen? Nothing. You ride out the trip out there away from civilization and you work out whatever you have to work out in your head, and that's it. So we lie down on the grass for like an hour or two. You know, the mushrooms have like peaked. We're both starting to calm down a little bit, and I was like, you know, we're just chilling there, and I'm like, let's go back. Like, I'm starting to come down. She's like, yeah, me too. It's okay. Like, let's go back to my apartment. You know, we can chill there. It's much more comfortable. I have air conditioning. I don't think I had air conditioning, but I don't know if I said that. Whatever. I was like, you know, we'll just chill there for a little bit. We'll just like ride it out. Like, just relax. Whatever. She's like, okay, that's a good idea. So we go back to my apartment. We get into my bed. Nothing happened, by the way, all of you like fucking whistleblowers out there. Like, I think we might have kissed later on a little bit, but no sex, like none of that. Honestly, it was the furthest thing from my mind. Like, I'm thinking in my head already, I was already scared that like this girl's gonna freak out and fucking, I'm imagining the worst. So like, I was like, oh my God, like platonic all the way, big brother, like I'm your gay best friend, you know what I mean? So anyway, we get into my bed and we're just like lying there, like cuddling, whatever. I'm like lying on my back, she's got like her head on my chest. She starts to calm down. I think she fell asleep. She woke up, and then she woke up and she was like sober. I didn't fall asleep. I was like vigilant, like waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Anyway, she fell asleep for like an hour, woke up, and I was like, are you okay? She's like, oh my God, like, I don't know if she said I'm sorry, but she's like, oh man, like, do you have any water? And I like went, got her some water. She's like, I was really freaking out there. And I was like, yeah, I know, but you know, how do you feel now? She's like, I feel much better now. And she's like, normal, right? And not just normal, but like when she got to my apartment in the beginning, she was very nervous, right? I don't know if she was just shy or whatever, but she was very nervous. But after that, she was normal, which is, I guess, that one of the main benefits of doing mushrooms, which is that you have this 6-7 hours of intense anxiety and energy, but then when it wears off, the vacancy is filled with this like overwhelming sense of relief and calmness and confidence, which I recognized in her. So she's like, yeah, I'm really sorry, I freaked out there for a bit, like, thank you for taking care of me. And I'm like, it's okay, don't worry about it. Are you sure you're okay? I checked like 5 different times. And you know, we went into the kitchen. I don't know if like I made something to eat or whatever, but talked for a little bit, and she's like, you know, like when I was tripping, I realized that like I really need to get my life together. Like, one of the reasons why I freaked out is because I realized that like I'm fucking around, I'm wasting my life, I'm making all the wrong decisions, and I want to get back into nursing school. She's like, I'm going back to school. She said it like 5 times, I'm going back to school, I'm going back to school. I'm like, okay, cool, I thought nothing of it. And then like I gave her a joint for the road. I was like, are you sure you're okay? Because normally when you smoke weed, it makes like the drugs kick in more or come back if you still have them in your system. She's like, I'm fine, don't worry about it, really, like, got everything sorted out, like, everything's okay. I'm like, okay. So like I gave her a joint for the road, she called an Uber, left, right? And like, I don't know, I think I texted her like a day later, like, are you okay, or something like that. Anyway, didn't hear from her for like a week. I'm like, fucking dodged a bullet of bullets right there, seriously. Anyway, she texted me like a week later. She's like, hey, just wanted to like thank you again for taking care of me. The experience was like really beneficial for me. I got back into nursing school. Like, I re-enrolled like the Monday after, you know, we tripped. I'm really going to get my life around, turn my life around, and I'm giving, you know, you and the trip a lot of credit for giving that experience to kind of shock me and wake me up and get me out of my like negative mind state. So I mean, at that point, I was really just happy that like I didn't have to have an awkward conversation with the police or a doctor, and that it, you know, obviously a bonus for sure that everything worked out for the better for her. Kind of curious. I haven't really thought about her in a while. I'm just trying to think of some ideas for more interesting videos, and this popped into my head. Thought it'd be an interesting story to tell. Not really sure what's going on with her now. I have her on Snapchat, which I never use. Can't really say that I'm so interested in reaching out as for like a progress update. Maybe if I go back to LA, I'll reach out to her or something. But it was not. I don't know. I have a lot more things on my list that I would want to do before I reach out to this like random ass girl who like almost ruined my life. Anyway, hope that was an interesting story for you. What do you think about that story? Leave me your thoughts below. Like, definitely was okay. So I'll close saying this. Like, for sure, 100% irresponsible of me to do that. Never, ever, ever offer mind-altering substances to somebody you do not know, especially over the internet when you are a guy, you know, almost 6'1", like built in shape guy. Like, do not offer drugs to like a young petite girl who, you know, if things go bad, the argument could be made that you have like nefarious intent, right? Anyway, don't do that. It's stupid. Like, I would even make the argument you probably shouldn't do those drugs in the first place. I do think that they can be beneficial to help people get over some of their own internal bullshit, like with this case that we, you know, if you choose to take my word for what she said, like with this case, it's good to kind of shock you out of your stupor. That said, have you ever done mushrooms? What's your experience been with mushrooms? Have you ever had a bad trip? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.